Hello, my perfect Pisces, and welcome to your abundance reading for May. This is just a general reading, so please do take what resonates and toss the rest. Also, if you haven't had a chance to check out your general reading, please do so. Also, please do like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and all that other great stuff. If you do enjoy this reading, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help me grow my channel, and it also helps get to all the other Pisces out there. So otherwise, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at your abundance reading. This top row is indicative of kind of where you are now. Do remember, time is fluid in tarot, so this could be like soon to come, or maybe you are in the throes of it already. The middle row is what you may not see coming, or what is on the agenda for the upcoming month or so. And the bottom row is advice from spirit, your higher divination, your celestial beings, ancestors, community of saints, whatever it is that you believe in to be your guiding force. So let's take a look here. Okay, so first we have the Seven of Wands. So I do feel like you are at a pivotal point in your life right now, job-wise, finance-wise, that kind of situation as far as deciding something. You are kind of feeling like you're not in a position that you want to be in. You want to shift, okay? Something is feeling just not like you want to be there anymore. Maybe you want to change jobs. Maybe you want to change entire career paths. Maybe you feel like, you just need to get out of, the office you're in, and, you want to kind of take a leave and do something on your own, kind of start maybe your own business, something like that. But I do feel like you're ready for a shift, okay? Like it's just time for you. You're at that point. And I don't think this is something that's been, a quick, fly-by-night kind of decision. I feel like this is something that you've really put a lot of thought into, and it's been a long time coming for most of you. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So, for some of you, it may be just something where now you're finally having an opportunity to do this, or now you're kind of at a point where you're just fed up. Something may have been a catalyst too. For some of you, I'm kind of getting a vibe that something's taken a turn, where things have either gotten worse at work, or somebody's really peeved you off, or something has just really changed your situation. Maybe your relationship has changed, and now you no longer need to be where you're located or doing what you're doing for that portion of your life. So you're like, I can change anything else I want to, just a whole makeover of life, right? But whatever it may be, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, that you're ready to make a change. I see the Chariot in reverse. So I don't feel like that is, that you're taking a step back. I feel like that's more like you are returning to your roots, okay? So for many of you, that's the sense that I'm getting. So for some of you, again, that is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting for some of you, probably where maybe something else in your life has fallen apart, or you've chose to break apart something else in your life. Maybe you moved somewhere and you're in this job and you're in this position and you're in this situation because you were with someone or married to someone or this or that, and now because that is something that you no longer want to be a part of, you've decided to kind of go back to, basics, go back to basics, go back home, go back to your friends, go back to where you came from, start anew. But I do kind of feel like I'm getting a sense of you kind of want to go back to basics, essentially. You kind of want to start over almost. And I do see the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like there's an opportunity to do that coming in. You may have been putting feelers out, because again, I do feel like for most of you, this isn't something that's been a short time coming. This may have been something where, relationships have been on the rocks. The job situation's been on the rocks for a while, or you saw things coming for, writing on the wall or something, or you just haven't been happy for a long time. But whatever it is, I feel like it's been something that, you kind of felt like needed to happen. So you may have been putting feelers out, things out, and now it's starting to kind of come to fruition. Opportunities coming in, options, choices, different information coming in saying, hey, you know what? If you want to try this out or you want to try that out, these are new chances or opportunities for you to kind of shift your direction, change your path, go back to basics, maybe even start over, something totally new, that you wanted to do or you did in the past, and maybe you liked, but you never really kind of got to develop or really, reach your creative pinnacle in, you don't feel like. So I do feel like when we look at what we're seeing coming, the next card is the Hanged Man, and that's intentional thought, right? You're really putting intentional thought into this, and that is under your shift, okay? your Seven of Wands. So again, I feel like right there, what I'm seeing is that you are intentionally putting yourself in this position of thought and thought process, because what you're wanting to do is, this isn't something that's new for you. I feel like you've been really thinking about this for quite a while. And so here you're really kind of deciding, what option do I want to take? You may have multiple because you've been, putting this out there. You may be, do I want to go back and try a whole new field? Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to go back to where I came from, start with my roots? Do I want to go back to school or get that certification to try something new? That's always been kind of creatively flowing in there, kind of had those juices flowing, but never really been able to kind of have the outlet to do that. So I do feel like you are putting a lot of thought into that, and you're continuing to really develop those ideas. Okay. The King of Wands in reverse is under your Chariot in reverse. Okay. So I feel like, again, that this is something where, the person who, may be behind this kind of need for a shift, right, is kind of still in the mix and maybe trying to come back into you, right? So if this is kind of driven by somebody at work who's just really kind of been a problem for you, really kind of held you back, maybe a boss or somebody like that who, they had every position and opportunity to really give you a leg up, really help you out, help you grow, and they just really didn't do it. And that's why you were like, I'm done with this. They're not allowing me to have, to seek my full potential here. So I'm over it, I feel like they're, they may try to, reapproach. They may try to even kind of, I want to say nickel dime you or breadcrumb you a little bit to kind of get you to come back. If it's a relationship that kind of is fizzled or you kind of have separated from, and that's part of why you feel like, since the relationship didn't work, now's the time to also get out of the job that I didn't necessarily love, in a place maybe I didn't necessarily love, and it's all kind of a package situation. That may be the person, and they're trying to, don't leave, come back, let's work things out. But it is a pivotal figure, I do feel like, that is around this decision to really shift directions and kind of leave. And I do feel like they are going to come back in regards to trying to kind of, really breadcrumb you. Honestly, they're not going to be, they're still not going to give you what you want. Okay. The bottom line is they are not going to give you the things that you need to move forward in a good direction. So if you take their, if you take their opportunities or their offers or whatever, it might be okay for a bit. Yeah, that might be pacifying, but that's all it's going to be, is a pacifying offer, right? It's not going to be something that you're going to be happy with long term. And I think you already know that. And that's why, with it being in reverse and being under that Chariot in reverse, that that's not a long-term movement forward. That. And so I do think that you are going to resist this person. I do think that you are going to, you're going to push them away. You're going to say, no, thanks. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Not interested. But I do really feel like they are going to make that attempt. So kind of be aware of that. Okay. And then we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And again, I do feel like this is, again, them, trying to work with you, trying to get you to come in and work with them in a sense of, let's work together, let's make this happen, and all of this and that. But this is coming under your opportunities. And I think that this is not the opportunity that's right for you. I feel like who you could trust and who you couldn't. And I do believe that you are resisting the opportunity to come back to those people, because you do realize that that would be putting you in the same place, in the same situations, in the same relationships, in the same groups, in the same everything that you've always been in, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that would not be, that would be crazy, right? Kind of the definition of insanity. So you're aware of that. I know. And I do believe with that falling under your Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles here, you have other opportunities. So it's much easier for you to turn this away as well. So let's see here what your, again, your celestial being, your spirit guide, your community of saints, your whatever it is you believe in, okay, is kind of trying to tell you. So I feel like you have the Ten of Wands in reverse, okay? So I feel like this is under your changing direction and your Hanged Man. And I do feel like this is kind of telling you, that you can basically, shove those burdens away. That's the best thing to do. Kind of pack it away. Don't even think about it. It's not that you're still at the end of carrying them and you can kind of start to be putting them down. It's that you need to just pack them away, okay? They need to be a thing of the past, okay? This is what you need to be thinking about is your future. You need to be already shifting directions up here. This needs to be something that you can, put in the past. And I think you kind of already know that because of the fact that you're able to, refuse somebody's breadcrumbing. You've already kind of developed your own idea of your self-worth, and you're not really taking anything less than what you deserve. Same thing with, you've had the Knight of Pentacles come in and offer you some opportunities, and you see these opportunities that, this Knight of or King of Wands might be offering as exactly what it is, a temporary, kind of pacifying, offer, but that's about it. Same thing over and over, not what you want. So I think you already know that you don't need to pick those burdens back up. And that's what Spirit's telling you. Don't ever pick those burdens back up. Keep them in the past where they belong, right? And the second card here is your Three of Swords. It's like the heartbreak, okay? And again, I do feel like for many of you, like I said before, I do feel like not only for many of you, some of you this does not apply. It's just simply that you're just unhappy with your work life, your work situation, the way things are going, with your work or your future there, you're stagnated, you want something different, a change, yada, yada. And take it as it resonates. But for some of you, again, I feel like this is very much tied into a package situation where you have a heartbreak, you have a relationship broken, okay? Or trust broken even. It could be a relationship at work too, where, there's been a handling of trust that's been broken with people that you've worked with for a while. But for many of you, I do feel like this King of Wands was a significant other. And I do feel like maybe you did change your life and move to a place or change your trajectory or change your path to accommodate them, right? Okay, so now you are making a shift back, okay? And Spirit is just trying to remind you, okay, that you really need to remember this when you're moving forward, okay? And base your life on your path and your path alone, because anytime you base your life on something else, if a heartbreak is to come, look at all the cleaning up and all the changes and all this that you have to do when you're basing your life around somebody else, okay? So if you took a job so that you could be near somebody else, if you moved your life so that you could be near somebody else, if you took something, gave up your dream for somebody else's because you just wanted to be accommodating for them because you cared about them, and then they do you wrong, you're going to be the one who's picking up all the pieces, okay? And remember that specifically when they start trying to kind of breadcrumb you with just, bits and pieces of things that you're worth more than, right? Especially after they've kind of, maybe done you wrong, maybe left you high and dry, things of that nature, okay? So I think Spirit's trying to remind you, do things for yourself. It's always nice to be considerate of others, but make sure that the choices that you make are ultimately choices that you alone could live with or without somebody else, because you never know what somebody else could do. You can't control other people, you can only control the way you respond to them, okay? So if somebody were to do you completely dirty, as long as you've made decisions that were for yourself, this wouldn't be any effect on you. I mean, yeah, you'd still have a heartbreak, but you wouldn't be switching jobs, moving places, possibly a lot of other things that could happen, okay? So this, again, here, your last card is the Eight of Cups. And I do believe, again, I believe this is you, shifting your life. Like we set up here, I do believe you are making a choice, a concerted choice to, come back into a place away from this situation, and maybe start anew. I feel like that whole Chariot in reverse idea is kind of going back to your basics, okay? You're going back to what you were before this person, before this situation, something that's more comfortable for you, something that is more happy for you, more something you feel safer in, something you feel more comfortable with, something that you don't based on anybody else, just yourself. And again, this may take you away from these people that you've been used to working with, dealing with, living around, what have you, that you've been having relationships and friends and family with for a while. It may take you away from them. You may have to even move back to where you came from if you had physically moved, or it just may be moving, from work couples, or you're no longer hanging out with the friends you were hanging out with because they were associated with this person. But I do see you kind of going back to simplistic basics where you were before, starting anew, starting fresh, and picking something that you enjoy. So I do feel like it's kind of a return to you. It's kind of like the return of you. And I do think that is always a good thing, because anytime you are starting over, you may have to take a step back, and you may feel like you're taking a step back, but ultimately you are taking a step into yourself, and you're showing yourself self-love. And that is so important, because then going forward, you are creating your own path, right? And that is where you find your ultimate happiness and joy. Okay, so let's see what we've got here on the abundance cards, because I do feel like you have opportunity for abundance coming. I do feel like that's out there with that Knight of Pentacles. There are going to be opportunities for you, and I do feel like you are, Spirit's telling you, don't ever pick those burdens back up. You can move forward without those burdens, so don't worry about those. But you do need to kind of shift, and you need to kind of get out of the situation that you're in. Start anew, start fresh. So let's see what you have here, and we'll go from there and close you out, okay? So first we have intuition, and I definitely think this is your intuition telling you you've got to shift. Something's not cool, something's not right. Your Hanged Man is really you basically taking that intuition and putting it into a deep thought process of how to play that out, how to use it for, logistical and pragmatic reasons. And then, you're really able to kind of move forward with that, but it's your intuition that is setting that into motion. Okay. Freedom. And again, this is absolutely what Spirit is trying to tell you, that when you choose your own path and not paths that are based around somebody else, that's ultimate freedom. Okay. Because then if everything else falls apart, yeah, you might be broken. Yeah, you may still have heartbreak, but if everything else in your life is exactly based on the way you wanted it, sure makes things a lot easier. You don't have to completely readjust your life, right? So by leaving, by not letting this person breadcrumb you back into staying with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just minimal offers to keep you around, you're going to ultimately gain your freedom, and kind of start to create your own path, right? And so invite help. And again, I think this is really where that Knight of Pentacles is coming in. I think, when you're kind of reaching out and asking for some things, kind of getting feelers out there, I think this is really what Spirit's telling you. Go ahead and do that. And if you need to leave and you need to find a place to go, ask. There's always people that are willing to help you, especially if you're somebody who, moved away from your home or your people or your area to be with somebody. And now you need to kind of find a place to go. Go where you feel safest. Go where you have people. Go where you can get the help. Because anytime you need, anytime you're starting anew, it's always better to start with somebody who can help you. And I think Spirit's telling you, invite the help. Allow people to help you. If you're a kind of person who doesn't usually like to accept help or, take somebody's help, you feel like, I don't want to be a charity case. You know what? You're not a charity case. Some people really just want to help you. And you know what? You can always pay it back in kind for sure, once you get established. So hopefully this resonated with you. If it did, please do like, subscribe, share, all that other great stuff. Otherwise, I hope to see you back soon. Bye.